Hey everyone, I have a 2010 Prius, and while I was driving home one day after work, as I was pulling into the parking lot, the car made a beeping sound and a whole bunch of lights came on the dashboard. Here's a picture of those lights. You can see on the left side there's a yellow triangle with an exclamation point and what looks like some kind of a traction thing. And then on the right side you can see the check engine sign and a yellow exclamation point in a circle. And in the middle it says check hybrid system. Oh, and by the way, it looks like it says 27,000 miles, but it's actually 127,000 miles. In case you were wondering why those miles are so low, they're not. The picture is just a bit too cut off. The car was still running, but from that point on, the engine wouldn't turn off anymore while I was driving, even when the car was stopped. So the moment I noticed that and saw the check hybrid system, I was thinking please don't be the hybrid battery, because I heard those can cost thousands of dollars to replace. Also, I'm an electrical engineer and I like to tinker with stuff, so I decided to see if I can look into this issue myself and record my adventures and findings with trying to fix this car. I'll tell you what worked, what didn't work, what I learned, and what I decided to do in the end. Alright, let's get to it. So I borrowed a friend's OBD2 scanner to check out what error codes the car was showing. I got 3 codes: P0A80, C1259, and C1310. By the looks of it, from the P0A80 code, it does seem like it's the hybrid battery, but I'm really not sure about the other 2 codes. One of them almost seems like it might be an issue with a contactor or a solenoid inside the battery pack. I'm gonna do some research on this. Okay, so I took the car to Toyota to get it checked because I spent at least 5 hours trying to figure out what the issue was, and I really wasn't sure if it was gonna be the hybrid battery or the inverter. So it was just more worth it to take it to Toyota, at least just to get it diagnosed. And they said it's the hybrid battery, and this is what they quoted me right here. Almost $4,200 for the replacement. So obviously that's gonna cost way too much, and I'm gonna try to do it myself. But what was really cool is I asked if I could talk to the technician, and instead the technician just printed out the whole diagnostics for me, the whole spreadsheet, everything. It's really cool. So you got like every single sensor over here and the details right here in the numbers. So what I found was indeed the high voltage batteries. These are the battery blocks, and then the voltages. I think these are 5 different times they tested it, 5 different trials, and there are the voltages for each block. You can see that this one, block number 8, came really low, especially this this last trial, or test, or whatever you want to call it. 12.13 volts. That's definitely bad. So we're going to try to replace individual cells instead of replace the whole entire battery, and hopefully save a few $1,000s, because that's going to be really expensive to do there. So first things first, I have to remove all the stuff in the trunk because that's where the hybrid battery is located. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Toyota replaces the entire thing. They don't allow their technicians to replace individual battery cells. Also, I keep calling them cells during the video, but they're actually called modules. They're made of 6 individual 1.2 volt nickel metal hydride cells. I'll show you what I mean in the next video. So just keep in mind that I'm actually talking about a module when I call it cell. Alright, so let's take this guy off too. I'll just sit it right here. And this next thing is really important. This is the plug. It's called the service plug for the high voltage battery. So to disengage it, you click it in sideways and then pull it out. And now the high voltage battery is still high voltage in there, but not as much. This thing cuts the battery in half basically. So I guess it's around 100 volts instead of 200 now, but still should be really careful with this. Next, we gotta put these back seats down. A lot of people actually take off the seat cover, the back seat cover over there, but I really don't think that's necessary. You can probably get to the battery without doing that, so to save some extra work, we're not going to take these covers off. Alright, so let's put these down. Okay, now these come, I believe these come right up. Yeah, they do. So they're just clipped in with these things down here. You can just pull it out. There's a second one. And there's some Velcro holding this in over here. Alright. Now this cover right on top of the battery is mostly the same as these other ones without any screws. It just has this one bolt right here, so we're gonna go get that. Let's grab this 10mm bolt. And the rest of this pops off. And there's the battery. Alright, from now on I'm going to be working with these high voltage rubber gloves that I bought from Amazon. Because like I said, there are still dangerous voltages inside of here. So let's get this one. And so first we're going to take off this duct right here. It's only being held by that one clip right there. And then this one is being held by two clips. This one right here and that one down there. But you can actually just pull this right up and it'll come off. So let's grab this one first. Okay, there it is. That comes right off. And this guy, like I said, you just pull up. There's that clip, and there's the other clip. So I actually forgot, there's this side intake that we have to take off, intake cover, and there's a 12mm bolt right underneath, inside over here. Come on, focus. Right there. You definitely don't want to drop this one.
So I'm gonna unscrew the rest with my fingers in here. So now this should come off like that. Let's just put it down with the other stuff. There's one more 10mm we gotta take off right there, so we can get to the vents and stuff and the clips underneath it to unplug from the high voltage battery. And I'm just going to keep these two together so I'll know which bolt goes with this anchor. Alright, next we're going to get our high voltage gloves back on. Because we're going to go back to the high voltage battery. So we got to get this clip off right here. Careful not to drop it. And this should come right out now. There it is. Okay, so there's two of these orange clips. There's one over here on the side, and there's one up top over here. Now to take these off, it's pretty cool how Toyota designed this. You actually need to use your high voltage service plug. So the part that sticks out of here, you can see, goes into the hole of the plug over there, and the hole over here goes to the part that sticks out from the not plug, the clip up on there. So you gotta fit it in, and once it clicks in, you hold these sidebars that stick out of the clip. You hold it and you turn the tool counterclockwise. So like, turn it and it comes out like that. If you turn it too much, it's gonna go right back in. So you gotta stop when it fully came out like that. And now you should just be able to pull this off like that. So let me move the camera for a better angle of the other one. So the same thing goes for this one. Oops, these gloves are really hard to work with. They're so stiff. There it is. Alright, next we're going to unscrew the nuts and the bolts from the battery cover. So we got one right there, one there, one there, one there, there, and there, and two over there, and then we got, I think, 4 more back there, 4 or 5 more back there, and there's one up top over here too. So let's get started. This right here is actually, you don't have a whole lot of clearance over there, so I'm gonna shorten my ratchet to be able to fit there. And so put my high voltage gloves back on, shorten my ratchet like that so I can reach in over here. got one more right over here. Should be able to take off this cover now. Now we have to be extremely careful, as we have been so far. But underneath these covers, these black covers, are the high voltage battery leads, where all these batteries are connected in series. So we have to be really careful taking these off. That's why we're wearing our high voltage gloves. So to pop these covers off. And now we have to unscrew all of these nuts. And I bought a high voltage insulated 8mm nut driver for this, as well as my high voltage gloves for extra security. Okay, time to take this off. Next, after I took off the bus bars, now that it should be more safe to work with, now I'm going to unscrew the rest for this cover and take this cover off. So for that cover, we have one right here and one right there. Now you always want to be extremely safe. Even though we took the bus bars off the batteries, we're still going to measure the voltage here. These terminals right here are the ones that come out of the high voltage battery when the batteries are all hooked together at 200 volts. It should read 0 volts right now, so I'm going to put this on. And sure enough, we got 0 volts. You can see I got the leads on there. So just to be sure that this multimeter is actually working and it's not just reading 0 volts for everything, we're going to measure on the other side. Like I mentioned earlier, it should be around 14 volts. So I'm going to put these two over here and come back to the multimeter. Sure enough, we got almost 16 volts. So we know it's working properly. Okay, now that we know that these are safe to touch, we're gonna unscrew these, and we don't even need the high voltage gloves anymore for this part. And I'm just gonna put these right back on. so I know where they came from. Okay, we just have 3 clips to remove that hold the wire harness into the battery module, or the battery assembly. There's one right here, one over here, and one on there. So you have to push through the bottom. You have to kind of pinch it together and push it up. Same with this one. There's also this hose right here. There's a hose right here you gotta unhook too. There. Let's unplug all these plugs over here. So there's one right here. Another one over here. There it is, okay. Now we just have 6 bolts holding the whole assembly down to the car. Once we undo those bolts, everything should be unhooked from the battery and should be able to be taken out. So 6 bolts, one right here, one right there, one over here, right underneath this brown thing, one over here, and 2 more. 2 more back here, there and there. Oh yeah, and these are 12mm screws, or nuts, I mean bolts. Now the battery should be completely loosened from the car. So let's give it a lift and see. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Definitely loose. So I gotta lift this out. There's no way for me to record this. I'm by myself. Everyone always recommends a friend to help you, because this thing is probably like 100 pounds. So I'm going to stop recording for now and come back after I lifted this out. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. You're going to probably want to take this off. I think this clip comes... Does it screw off? I can't remember. Yeah, it screws off. Okay, so just to make more room for the battery to come out, good to take these off. And I prepared a towel on the floor so I can put the battery right out on top of the towels. And I'm in the middle of lifting this thing out, and I realized I forgot to take off this wire harness. So for this one, pull it back and you lift this up. Alright, back to taking this out. Oh, it's super hard. Get it out. I gotta somehow take it upstairs to test these individual cells.
Okay, so I got it on my skateboard. Now I'm gonna roll this up to my apartment and start testing it there, take it apart, and hopefully fix it. I'll cover this in part 2 of this video series. Stay tuned. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider liking it, sharing it, and subscribing. Thanks.